morning, and please don't give it up.
I would never give it up. That's one of my favourite songs, actually. I like that one. Yeah.
Fresh here in the studio from this year's London Marathon. How are you feeling?
Good, actually. I'm feeling really well. I think I've sort of got my energy back through sleep, although the first night I couldn't sleep at all because I think my legs were still moving. But it's I had a wonderful massage at our friends at Skelton Manor Spa yesterday, and a lovely spa treatment and an afternoon tea. So I was very spoilt. And my calves are just about beginning to forgive me, I think.
Are they not still swollen to the max?
They feel very tight, but they sort of in the last 2 weeks of training, I struggled with my calves really. So I panic bought a pair of these compression sock type things, and I have to say I think they were absolutely brilliant, and I'm so glad that I had them because they just did support my legs throughout the race, really.
Because I often say, don't introduce new things like so close to a race, and you're like, no, I'm going to get new shoes, I'm going to get some compression socks, I'm going to try these gels. You were like, I need to finish it.
Yeah, and I literally hadn't even tried. I tried them on, and that was it. And even when I was in the enclosure before you were let off onto the marathon, I was still like, shall I, shan't I? And I thought, yeah, put them on, because you can take them off. If they don't get on with you, you can just take them off and that'll be fine. But actually they were absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I was really glad I'd made that decision.
Mate, you're like those footballers that cut little holes in the back on their calves. It's like, oh, my calves are burgeoning out of my socks, I don't need these anymore. And I've just noticed on the camera, I'm just going to tilt this down, you've got something around your neck.
Look at that.
Look at that. There's your camera there. For those of you on social media, or you can watch this back later on, that is a London Marathon Finishers Medal. Gina, when are you picking yours up?
The only ones I pick up are from the pound shop. You know, they do a pack of 10, and they're tiny, but that is incredible, Ali. Isn't it big?
It is, actually, it is really big, and it's quite heavy. And I just think, Chris Eubank Jr., eat your heart out. Look at that. Yeah, it's great, actually. I'm going to put it in, like, you can have these special frames that it's got your numbers, the medal, and all of that. So I've got a place where I want to put that. But yeah, it's really nice. It's very high quality, a bit of quality there.
Yeah. What's it say on it? It's got some inscriptions in there.
There's actually Braille there.
Oh, fantastic.
That's Braille, which is amazing. And on, I mean, that was one of the things about the marathon, and was obviously how inclusive it was. And the wheelchair racers and everything, they were the elite of that. They went off early in the morning, didn't they? But I sort of saw about 5 different groups of people that were supporting wheelchair users and things, and fundraising. So you've got to just be humbled by all of that, really. And it's I don't know. I mean, I know it was a Guinness World Record for the amount of people that were running, but I don't know if it's another record for the amount of fundraising with wheelchairs and everything. I don't know, but it was amazing. There were a few people that were blind that were being guided as well, and I just thought, oh my God, that's just so brilliant to actually go through something like that, because it it was a challenge. It was difficult.
Yeah. Gina.
Well, there was one gentleman that I'd seen that did the whole marathon with crutches. And I think he went into the Guinness Book of Records as well. And also fancy dress. How on earth are you going to go doing this marathon with a big costume on you as well? Incredible.
Again, I don't know, but I overtook 2 rhinos.
Yes.
But I didn't overtake the man. In fact, he overtook me. That was bouncing a tennis ball on a racket all the way around. So I thought that was a bit rude when he overtook me. But there were people raising money for guide dogs for the blind with like dog heads on. There were all sorts of things. A guy was running it in a whole 3-piece suit. It was Mr. Bean. I mean, that's the great fun of it, isn't it? There were 6 that were in the mystery machine. How they could coordinate at that pace and everything is just incredible. And another group for pancreatic cancer, I think they had a Guinness World Record of the most coordinated in a group as well. Okay. So and a friend that her son used to ride with my daughter, she had a Guinness World Record for for the fastest runner with bilateral knee replacements.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so
God,
she's
they're for you
amazing,
today.
Amanda. Shout out to Amanda in Bridgend if she's listening today. But yeah, she's brilliant. She's done an amazing time as well, and yeah, she's just fantastic. So the achievements of all these people when you're out running, it is very humbling.
Mhm.
And of course, seeing some of it on the TV and some of the stories is just like, you know, seeing the two dads that ran for their daughters that they'd lost in the Taylor Swift dance group. That was just heartbreaking to see. And I think I said on the sports show, it's that running that marathon for those types of causes must be absolutely, you know, you can imagine the emotion involved in the whole process. I raised some money for Get the Boys a Lift, who I think are amazing at what they do, and I think I'm on about 1,100. I'm going to close the fundraising on Friday, but thank you so much. I've had over 40 people have donated, and of course that makes such a difference. It's £35 for every hour's counselling that they give free down there. So yeah, thank you to everybody that supported me on that journey, because it will be used in Haverfordwest, which is just fantastic.
Yeah, you mentioned humbling experience there and the emotion that goes through. I know people that have crossed the finish line and they don't know what to do and they just burst into tears. It's like, well, I did that. And it's not just the day. You found out about this last summer.
Yeah. So
how did that all culminate when you crossed that line and it's like, oh my God, I've done it.
Yeah, it was really weird. I was so exhausted when I crossed that line, and I wanted to have a nice sort of woohoo crossing the line, so I had a decent picture for the gram, obviously.
Yeah.
And didn't want to look awful. And then I just sat down and I just thought, oh my God, I'm never going to get up again. And what you don't anticipate at the end is how many hundreds of thousands of people are just there looking for their loved ones, partners. The whole operation is so slick. It's just so slick. The London Marathon team are a well-oiled machine, but there were meeting points at various places. But of course, we hadn't prejudged that and given a letter of where we should meet, and the phones were all chaotic. So it took a little while to find my family. But yeah, I mean, it's just, incredible organisation. It really was. From the expo, where, again, you know, all of these people registering from last Wednesday, I think I registered on the Saturday morning. And yeah, it was very crowded in there. And I don't like crowds that much. So didn't make the most of the expo, I suppose. But yeah, London did its thing, its thing.
I mean, London knows how to show off, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's incredible. Gina, you got some questions about what the actual preamble's all about and the actual route?
Well, I was going to say, going round, and you mentioned, you know, the various people with like the mystery machine and running round. How on earth are you going to go to the toilet? Are there toilets on this route?
Yeah, there are toilets actually. There's toilets probably every mile or so, to be honest. I had anxious wheeze, should we say, before I left to go, because you're putting holding pens of different colours, because of course all of the starting is sort of staged in different waves. So yeah, I went about 5 times before I ran, and then I thought, right, I better go to the first lot of toilets that I see, which are about 2 miles in. So I did that. I had a really quick Formula One kind of pit stop there. But yeah, there are toilets all the way along the route. So when I was telling my mum that yesterday, she was like, "Well, how come Paula Radcliffe didn't use those?"
That's a very good point.
I said, "Well, I think that she probably had time on her mind, and it meant more to her to get a good time than it did to me." But it's just a well-oiled machine. There are stops every mile, because the weather as well, which was, you know, unprecedented. They had showers every mile as well, so you ran through these sort of showers that outside fire stations and all sorts of things, so they cooled you down. There were ice stations as well, so it was recommended that I wore a baseball cap for the first time that I've ever worn a baseball cap running. So again, I was like, do I, don't I? But I just filled it with the ice, put it on my head, kept cool doing that, just took all the opportunity to get any liquids on board. And of course, I was like a pack horse. You know, when you look at those people in the airport and you think, oh, they look so glamorous, I wish I was them. It was the same in the marathon. There were like people that just look slick and glamorous, and you think, And I was like a pack horse with 250, 500 ml of like the water in my rucksack. I had the gels and all the rest of it. And I thought, I'm going on a real expedition here. And everybody else was like glamorous, made up, everything. And some of the pictures, I'm just like, what was I thinking? But yeah, I'm fine because I did as my coach told me, and I had everything with me, and I followed the procedures, I followed my training, and yeah, despite the weather, which I've got to be honest, I didn't find too bad because I just made the most of everything that was out there. And people were giving oranges on the route, bananas and stuff as well. So there was plenty of support there. And yeah, I followed what I'd been trained to do. So that worked out okay.
Yeah, we'll touch on the support in just a second, actually. Anna's been in touch. She's well done, Ali. Super proud of you. Louise Rosen saying, so well done, Ali. Jan Lloyd, well done. And Jim Parkin, amazing stuff, Ali. Running the Pembrokeshire Coast Path next. It's only 186 miles long. You can join Santa Duffy when she does it.
Yeah, I just can't wait to do that.
What is next, though? This is what it brings it on. Like, you've done London Marathon. What is next? Have you got anything in the pipeline?
Well, I've been in touch with Ben Stone about doing Paris because, of course, he did Paris a couple of weeks ago, actually. And Paris hasn't got a ballot as such. It is just entries only. So that makes the whole process, you're either in or out, and you've either paid or not. So I think I quite like to do that one. And looking at doing a Malaga half on the 14th of December, because my birthday's on the 13th. So we kind of thought that would be a nice sort of thing to do on my birthday. And then I've got a half marathon for the long course weekend in Pembrokeshire in June as well. So once I've got my recovery over with this week, I'll be back on some sort of plan then. But yeah, I think for me, I need to keep it going now because I've invested so much time and energy and effort into it that I do need to get it going. And I'd like to get a bit into cycling as well, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
It becomes a lifestyle, doesn't it?
I think it does. Yeah, I think it does. And yeah, I think if I hadn't been doing the marathon, just recently, the winter would have been very difficult to have got out there. But because I was on a plan with Pete Lloyd, who has been absolutely amazing at Tri-Lloyd coaching, I've just stuck to that and haven't dared go off it that often.
The fear.
The fear.
Yeah. Well done. I know people that have done the marathon and it completely changed their life. They become healthier. They start looking after their diet, their nutrition, their mental health, which is because you were fundraising for Get the Boys a Lift.
Yes.
Give that one more plug. You're going to close it on Friday.
Yes.
So if you can, submit and donate what you can if you're in a position to do so, and that support will be greatly received. You received great support on the day as well. Just a shout out for your family and friends that popped up everywhere.
Yeah, my sister was just amazing. She was with her friend Karen, and Karen's from London, and she popped up 4 times at the front of the railings in 4 different places. I couldn't believe it, but she said on the penultimate time, that was by Big Ben, and I literally only saw them as I went past, and she said, oh my God, she's in the dome. She's just in the zone to get it done now. And then my partner Andrew, he came and dropped me off at the pink zone. I saw him at about mile 11, and then him and his son and Martha came to the end, but I didn't see them. I was just literally, I've got to get this done, and they were at the 200-yard marker where the digging was deep at that stage. And as I was saying, I wanted to look pretty okay coming through the finish because I knew there'd be a big photo. That would be the end photo. So I thought, oh God, I have to come through with a bit of energy in my step. Yeah. So I was saving it for that final 3 steps, really. But yeah, it was just absolutely amazing experience, I have to say.
Amazing. And you're a few days on there from Monday night. You said that you weren't able necessarily to savor the flavor. Are you thinking, oh, I remember that crowd there. I remember that crowd there. I remember the noise. What are you looking back on now?
Yeah, now I'm reflecting on it all. I don't think I made the most of the opportunity of the crowds, who were absolutely phenomenal. There were bands all over the place, music. That was really good. But because of my training, and I think a lot of people are the same, you tend to stick to the plan that you've got in your head, which is sort of time, heart rate driven. And because of the weather, I was very aware that for the first 10K or so, my heart rate was much higher than I'd anticipated. And I had Pete's voice in my head, slow down, keep it slow. But my pace was slower as well. So my heart rate was higher, my pace was slower. And I thought, right, well, you can't ring Pete now, so
Yeah.
just get on with it, really. So I was just
balance.
I was just mindful of those things with the weather being so warm, really, as well. But I think reading some stuff online, the temperature affects your outputs by about 10 to 15%. So, that was something that, at the end of the day, I was quite pleased with to get it done, really.
Yeah, you finished. That's
finished,
the key thing.
yeah.
Jan wants to come with you and support you in Paris.
Jan, that's my cousin.
Hello, cousin Jan.
There you go.
Yeah.
I was going to say, an extra ticket needed there then.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll have a crowd of us all going over there, I'm sure.
I'll make the most of it.
Yeah.
Ali, thank you so much for joining us and for raising funds to get the boys a lift. As you mentioned, that's going to go a long way to supporting more people with the counselling that they offer down there.
Absolutely, yeah.
One last time for those that are watching us on the camera, hold that medal up and give us a nice beamy smile.
Woo!
There it is. And Michelle Bradfield over on Instagram. What a hero.
I work with Michelle. She's lovely. Yeah. And all my friends, the messages that were coming through and afterwards. And I was really emotional when I had Toby and you as a team. We have a team meetings on Monday and everybody was screaming on the message. And honestly, I broke into tears when I heard that because it was just like so lovely. I've only been here 2 minutes, it feels like, really. And I really felt the love. So it meant a huge amount. So thank you to my lovely colleagues as well.
Lovely. We'll be keeping track of your progress now with these other races too.
Oh my God, yeah.
Got to keep it up now. Gina, it's coming up 25 minutes past 9 o'clock.
It is. We have got the perfect song for you actually coming up, Ali. It's called Busy Women.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Keeping you busy.
It, yeah.
That's on the way. G, what closes in 5 minutes?
Oh, we've got your Unscramble competition. So last chance to head over to our Facebook page, Pure West Radio, and get involved, Unscrambled with Folly Farm.
And what are we giving away before 10 o'clock?
We will be giving away an annual family pass to the said Folly Farm. Everybody wants to win it. It could be yours for the taking, but get involved right now.
Don't go anywhere. We're going to look at some events with your what's-ons around the county and that busy woman for Ali. In fact, is there another song you want?
Oh, there is that song, Run Boy Run. Do you know that?
Oh, you want Run Boy Run?
Yeah,
Run
I love
Boy Run.
That. Yeah.
There you go. Right.
Apparently that motivates a lot of people.
We'll sort that out for you as well for you. It's 25 minutes past 9 o'clock. Ali, thank you so much.
Woohoo! Thank you, guys. Bye.
Get your annual pass today.